Alex Hormozi is currently generating zillions of leads from his portfolio of 16 companies, generating over $200 million a year in revenue. And he's constantly teaching exactly how he's doing it to other entrepreneurs online. The problem is, across his podcast, YouTube, short form content, there's literally hundreds of hours of content to go through. So to save you time, I've spent the last month investigating Alex Hormozi's lead gen strategy. And in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly what he's done to build his portfolio of companies to over $200 million, as well as have a multiple 8-figure exits. Let's get into it. So before we dive into the lead gen strategy, it's important to know how Alex thinks about lead generation. And because of that, I'm going to talk about 5 lead gen philosophies that Alex Hormozi constantly talks about and constantly reinforces in his content and as he's teaching other entrepreneurs.
I personally follow a bunch of philosophy accounts. And so most of the philosophers are dead. Yet I still love to see the quotes they have because they remind me of the things that I want to follow, the way that I want to live.
So the first thing being, we need to create a self-reinforcing system. What this means is we don't just get a customer and then get the next customer and get the next customer. We want to create a system that is self-reinforcing, that continues to grow and compound over time. So what he says is we want to get customers, ask them for reviews and referrals, and let that bring in even more customers without extra work, which means we need to have a super good product and also a system for asking for reviews and asking for referrals. And that's something that we should not put on the back burner, but something that we need to build in that is absolutely mandatory.
And so this initial effort and money goes into the system. That gets you customers. Those customers get results. Those results drive reviews and word of mouth, which then get you more customers.
The second philosophy that he talks about is the rule of reciprocity. So he talks about this a lot. What a lot of people do when they're selling is they're just like, let's book a call, let's book a call, let's make this about me. I have something to sell you. I have something to sell you. Problem is, that's not how reciprocity works when Alex is talking about lead generation. What he talks about is he wants to offer free stuff that others charge for, so people feel like they owe you and are more likely to buy or share your business. Like what Alex does, he gives away all of his courses, he gives away all of his secrets. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if you've consumed a lot of Alex's content, you're like, dude, I will buy whatever it is that you're offering because I feel like I owe you something and you've given me so much value. The amount of free value that he's providing is also coming up in tenfold in returns because people ultimately trust him.
After you've delivered the value that you deliver with your core product or service, you then offer a free gift.
Third philosophy that he talks about is extreme ownership. If you're not getting customers, don't blame the market. We need to not point the finger at something else. We want to point the finger at ourselves. One of my favorite principles is extreme ownership. A lot of people, when they're not getting leads, a lot of people when they're not closing deals, and they try to point the blame at this thing, this person, this software, this tool, when in reality, it's likely you that's contributing to you not getting leads. Fourth principle that he talks about is avoid linear growth. So he says, don't rely only on grinding every day. Set up systems like automation or content that bring in customers even when you're not working. What a lot of people do is think, the harder I work, the more my business will grow. The more outputs I give, the more my business will grow. Problem with this is that's a hamster wheel cycle. So unless we put in systems, processes, and potentially people, or when it comes to lead gen, it's always going to be that hamster wheel growth. What he suggests is using automation, tools, etc., which we'll talk about later on.
So if you happen to live under a rock and not believe that reviews are a very valuable thing in business, the highest percentage of sales across any market come from word of mouth. It's from people telling other people about stuff.
And the last philosophy is basically talking about his 3 pillars of lead gen success. 1, get high quality leads. 2, treat customers super well. And 3, make sure they leave reviews and tell their friends. Firstly, getting high quality leads. A lot of people just want to talk to anybody with a pulse, but how do we actually get high quality leads? Well, that's making sure that we have a good sales process in place, have a good brand, have a good lead gen mechanism to actually bring in those high quality leads, treat customers super well. We can't just churn and burn new customers. So I really like his philosophies on like making sure you have a good product, making sure you're taking care of the customers, and not just getting the next deal, getting the next deal, getting the next deal. And then lastly, make sure they leave reviews and tell their friends. I mean, I am so surprised about all the people that I talk to who don't ask their clients for reviews or referrals. It really echoes what Hormozi says. It's like the more reviews that you can get, the more it's going to stack proof, and then the more it's actually going to help you with step number 1, which is getting high quality leads and ultimately closing more deals. So
this growth concept is to create a self-reinforcing system where every action or component builds momentum and drives the next, creating sustainable growth over time without the continuous input of more effort and more money on the side of the founders and or investors.
We need to understand Alex's mindset as we understand the lead gen strategies that he's using in order to do it. With this in mind, let's talk about one of the most low-hanging strategies that Alex Hormozi talks about that we can literally implement today, and probably if you follow this, get a deal in the matter of a few minutes of work, and that is warm outreach.
Now we go to warm outreach, which is the first of the core four, which is people who know you, reaching out to them one-on-one.
What a lot of people do is they rely on cold outreach, the next deal, the next deal, the next deal, and they don't realize that there's probably gold inside of their phone, there's gold inside of their Instagram followers, there's gold inside of their LinkedIn, and if they can just pick up the phone, call people, ask them if they need help with what it is that they're doing, then they're likely going to compound into new deals. So this is good if you're just starting your business, or if you already have an established business, you can literally follow the same framework. And to illustrate this, I actually found a video that is an example of him doing this.
Let me show you how to get your first client in 90 seconds. Pull up your phone, look in your contacts, and call the first person. If you're nervous to call somebody you already know, just follow a script. Hey, what's up, man? Are you at that wedding?
I am, yeah.
You have one section before you get to the script, which is where you just ask the person about their lives and what's going on that's new. How is it?
It's good. A little overwhelming, but it's good.
Nice. You with Kat?
I am, yeah.
Well, quick question for you. Once they say whatever it is that's new, all you do is you ask them if they have time to insert the thing that you have. Is anyone taking out your trash?
No, it's probably just sitting there smelling awful.
Got it. And then you can transition to the ask of like, do you know anybody? Do you know anybody else who might be at the wedding who's also not taking out their trash who lives back home?
Probably, but what are you talking about? Like,
I know this is out of blue. I'll explain why. So right now I'm starting my little trash cleaning business. I want to help like 5 or 10 people and just do my service for free, just so I can show how good service I have.
That sounds incredible. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, cool. I'll text you with the details and you can tell me what times and places and all that stuff, and we'll rock and roll from there. And the other folks that you know, do you think you do a 3-way text intro with me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for supporting me, man. I really appreciate it.
So what he laid out here from warm outreach is just simply picking up your phone and hitting up people that you know. I think this can be done in a lot of different ways. In this example, he just simply picked up the phone, and I love the structure that he gave us that can be applied in a lot of things that we're implementing. So first, he says, if you feel nervous, follow a script. Okay, what's the script that I do? I dissected it for you so you could literally just follow it right here. Introduction. Hey man, how's life? Hey, do you have time for generating new leads for your business? Hey, do you have time to qualify leads? Hey, do you have time to create new content for your business? Whatever it could be. Do you know anyone else who also might not have time to like create content that really wants to start creating content? What I'm trying to do is I'm looking for a few people that I know in exchange for, you know, a referral and a review to basically just create some content for them or get some leads for them. And if it works, awesome. Just because I'm really starting to grow this business and I'm trying to pick it off the ground. That's a way to do it, especially if you like you're a new business. What we teach, and he calls this momentum campaign, we call it the same, is we like to offer like a free trial for a month or a discount for a month. Even if you're an existing business, what you can do from like the free is basically offer some sort of discount, make it something that is enticing that you could actually get the deal so that you can build more momentum.
My recommendation, you can use the lead magnet. All right, you give away the free or discounted thing so that they want to take a step towards you.
What's important when you're doing your outreach is you're not just like calling. We want to make sure that we're tracking everything inside of a tool. So this could be like an Asana tool or your CRM. In our case, we like to use Notion. So we built out like a momentum operating system essentially where we can like list everybody inside of our network, hit them up, and actually track how it's going and track all of our openers. We can also write the scripts here, which is really easy to use and really easy to follow. So we're not losing track of everybody and everybody can just be like in one spot and we can actually see our activity. Okay, so that's really important that we're not just like spraying and praying. We are tracking everything and we're following the design and we're actually taking time to do it and scheduling time throughout our day to do this. You can also automate your outbound with Instantly. You can simply get all of the emails. You can use an AI tool to extract everybody from your Gmail, your contact database, and you can create a campaign inside of Instantly. Let's just call it like warm outreach. And then what you can do is you can come up with a quick sequence, essentially, that would get people to respond, offer something for free to people, offer something at a killer discount. And this is a completely automated approach and you don't really need to think about it. And you can do all the tracking directly inside of Instantly. One other way that we like to say that Alex Hormozi always talks about is just simply post on your social media. Like, a lot of people don't realize there's probably gold in their followers, even whether you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, etc. Use a post following a similar script from what Alex Hormozi said, and look for people who you can help get to a desired outcome and make a post about that and get people to raise their hand so that you can start more conversations as well as get your business out there. This sounds pretty cool, but honestly, none of this is going to work if we don't follow the principle that Alex Hormozi talks about, his irresistible offer formula. And this is extracted from his $100 million offer. So if you don't have a good offer, nobody's going to say yes. So we need to make sure that our offer foundationally is set up for success as we start these lead gen strategies. In short, what it is we have a client's dream outcome. So what is it that they want? We multiply that by the perceived likelihood of achievement. So are they actually going to achieve this offer? Do they feel like they're going to get what it is that you're actually talking about from like the outcome perspective, divided by time delay and effort and sacrifice from that specific customer.
You'll notice from the first book, we're actually hitting the 4 elements of the value equation. We talked about the dream outcome. The perceived likelihood of achievement is implied because we show multiple testimonials in our little mini pitch. We talk about the time delay, how quickly, and we talk about how we can do it without the effort and sacrifice. All of those things in a short statement.
So what I like to do is I like to simply just go to ChatGPT and I can just type in literally something like, I do lead gen for plumbing following Alex Hormozi's irresistible offer formula of dream outcome times perceived likelihood of achievement divided by time delay times effort and sacrifice. Write me an offer example. And it will literally spit out some ideas for you depending on what it is that you're actually doing. So not a bad framework to do. I would definitely follow exactly what I did so that you can also create a similar irresistible offer, as well as make sure that you are checking the boxes that Alex Hormozi says. Some more examples could be an AI chatbot agency, sales on autopilot, the offer, get 30% more conversions with an AI chatbot that sells for you 24/7 without lifting a finger. Dream outcome, more leads, more sales, and faster responses without hiring extra staff. Perceived likelihood of achievement, proven to increase conversions by 30% for businesses like yours. Time delay, fully functional AI chatbot live in 7 days. Effort and sacrifice, we build, train, and optimize the chatbot for you. Just watch it work so they don't have to do anything. 6-figure content system done for you, personal brand growth. Build a profitable personal brand and land clients in 30 days with just 2 hours per week. Dream outcome, a growing audience and high ticket inbound leads from your content. Perceived likelihood of achievement, trust by 7-figure entrepreneurs and content creators. Time delay, first viral video in 7 days, full content system running in 30 days. Effort and sacrifice, we script, edit, and post. All you do is hit record. Online coaches, 50K in 30 days, adding $50,000 in coaching revenue in 30 days, or you don't pay. Dream outcome, more high ticket clients. Perceived likelihood of achievement, 100 plus 7-figure coaches have done this with us. First sale in 7 days, full 50K in 30 days. Effort and sacrifice, we handle marketing sales, you just coach. So again, lead gen won't work if our offer sucks. With this, now you're pretty much to implement one of Alex Hormozi's favorite approaches to lead gen, which is cold outreach, and something that he talks about a ton in his marketing as it pertains to how he was able to literally save his business from bankruptcy. So knowing this, let's talk about the strategies that he talks about when it comes to doing cold outreach for your business. So in his course, he literally says there's 3 problems that strangers create that we can solve when it comes to doing our lead gen strategy of cold outreach. Problem 1, how do I contact them? Problem 2, I have my list, but what do I say to them? Problem 3, I'm not getting enough chances to tell people about my amazing stuff. What do I do? So let's break these down step by step and hear what Alex has to say about each one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly how you can implement exactly what he's teaching in a couple of quick steps. So first problem, how do I figure out people that I'm going to contact and reach out to as it pertains to my cold outreach? So Alex Hormozi basically says there's 3 ways to get lists. You can build a list using software. You can buy a list from an online directory, or you could have a VA basically custom build your own list for you.
There's 3 ways to build a list. You can scrape them, you can buy them, you can look for them. All right, so those are the 3 main ones. And I've done all of these.
In my case, what I like to do, taking Alex Hormozi's advice, is I like to just go in instantly and simply use their lead finder. So inside of the lead finder, let's just say I'm working with financial service companies who are doing $0 to $50 million a year, and I'm looking for the CEO and co-founder. Perfect. Here's literally 11,000 people that I can then reach out to. What we can do is we can use all of the different filters from employee quantity, from revenue, funding type, from isn't any of specific customers, to the job titles, to the industries that we're looking for, and so much more, and be able to find our ideal customer. Let's do construction CEOs. 24,000 construction CEOs, literally just in one click. So I like to just use software to build lists, and Instantly.ai's lead finder is really, really efficient for me in order to do that. The next thing that he talks about is I have my list. What do I say to them? So what he says is we need personalization and big, fast value.
So once you scrape the list, here's what you say. personalize, and then give big, fast value.
So what we talked about before was the big fast value and the rule of reciprocity. We need to also incorporate that inside of our lead gen strategy so that we can actually get responses and get people to feel like they owe us something and add value to them to get contacts into raised hands, which is turned into prospects, which ultimately turns into more book calls. So practically, how do we personalize and give big fast value at scale? From a personalization perspective, what I can do inside of Instantly is I can literally go ahead and go to campaigns. I can create a campaign and I can just call this test campaign 1, 2, 3 and add some leads. So let's go to my lead finder. Let's just say I'm gonna add some of these leads in here. What I can do is I can add it to a campaign, go back to my campaigns and go to leads. And from a personalization perspective, what we'll see inside of Instantly is we'll see this little thing that says AI prompts. What we're able to do is we're able to link up our open API key, which is basically ChatGPT, and be able to come up with prompts that will apply to all of the different leads that we have inside of here. So inside of here, you'll see literally hundreds of different pre-made template prompts that you can use. You can also create your own templates, which is also extremely helpful. So in this case, let's just create a new personalized line. So let's just go to website, let's go to company name, and then what I can do is I can generate a test output. Perfect. So this is a personalized line. And what I can do is I can say generate for all leads, and what will populate is a personalized line for all the leads that I've added inside of the campaign, so that when I'm emailing them, it's not just another cold email. It is something that feels personalized to the person that we're actually emailing. Now let's talk about the second point, which is big, fast value. So what we can do simply inside of Instantly is we can write a campaign. And when we're writing a campaign, what we don't want it to be like is, hey, John, we help companies grow their business. Do you have time tomorrow for a quick call? Because we've been able to successfully help all these customers and we want to talk to you if you have time. Here's my link to book a call. That's what we don't want to do. What Alex Hormozi preaches is we want to give value. And like what he talked about in his philosophies of reciprocity, this is the perfect opportunity to do it, especially when we're doing this at scale. So for example, what I could say is like, hi, first name. I could literally take this. I could say, we help plumbers get 20 plus book jobs per month with qualified leads that turn into high ticket plumbing projects. Cool. So now we have our email written that basically follows the principles that he talks about, which is personalized line, offer, essentially, proof, and guarantee, and then offering something of value that people would normally pay for. So in this case, I just said, can I show you over a personalized video sharing step-by-step guide on how you can plug this into your current lead gen system, which basically in turn, what you would do is you would send them a video of how you get clients, 20 plus book jobs, and how they can plug the same system inside of their business if that's something that they wanted to do. Next thing that he talks about, I'm not getting enough chances to tell people about my amazing stuff. What do I do? Well, the solution that he talks about is volume plus automation plus a tool to analyze everything.
So 1 is we automate delivery, 2 we automate distribution, and 3 we follow up more times in more ways.
What we see a lot, and I totally agree with Alex Hormozi here, is like people will send 1,000 emails or 100 emails or a couple hundred emails, and they'll be like, I'm just not getting enough people to raise their hand. I'm not getting enough people to say yes to it. Well, you're probably, and this is what Alex Hormozi says, and I freaking love how he says this, is you're probably grossly underestimating the amount of volume that you need to send in order to actually get responses and close more deals. So we need to add more volume. We need to make sure it's automated so we're not just reinventing the wheel. We need to analyze what's working and what's not working. So how do we do that? Well, with a tool like Instantly, again, all we need to do is just keep feeding the campaign into our campaigns where we're constantly adding more leads. The thing I love about Instantly and cold email is that it's completely scalable, and it's just a matter of how many contacts we can add in order to get more people that we can talk to. As far as automations, I mean, this literally automates your whole thing from setting up emails, warming them up, finding your leads, sending the emails, managing all of the emails in one simple inbox, analyzing all of your emails and seeing what your reply rates are, how many emails that you've sent, how many opportunities you've generated as a result. With these principles, you can literally do everything inside of Instantly, making it literally one-stop shop for all things cold outreach, which again, Alex Hormozi absolutely loves. Look, these are just a couple of ways to win using Alex Hormozi's strategies, but it'd be a big mistake if I didn't talk about one thing that he shares about a ton, which is content.
We just did more edutainment and entertainment style content, and our views went through the roof.
For those who don't know, Alex Hormozi was very anti-content. He was like, oh my gosh, it's such a waste of time. It's not going to generate opportunities, until he started creating content for himself. He literally said he used to tell people to not create content until he started building his brand and he saw what the power of brand would do for him. And what he sees it as is he sees as content as like the lubricant to the ads, to the outbound, to the warm outreach, because it's a trust building opportunity for you to share more and get in front of more people and build trust with your ideal customer. So what Hormozi suggests is a couple of different methods of content. First is short form, very like top of funnel, right? It's very high level, drawing a lot of people in, and he's getting a lot of followers as a result of that. What you can do with your content is you can, based off of your offer, you could say, give me 10 top of funnel video ideas, make them polarizing, and have a good hook. So ChatGPT can help you out with this. Next thing that it talks about is long form content. And if you've watched any of Alex Hormozi's long form content, it is gold. It's literally a course that is super educational. It's a workshop. It really guides and educates the people that are watching it in an effort to build continued trust with them. What kind of long form content could you do to educate your consumers if you're in the plumbing industry and you're helping get lead gen for plumbers? Well, you can explain everything that you do, give away everything for free, which is going to increase the trust and make it a lot easier for that customer to say yes to you because you have the educational content on there. I mean, I think there's a stat that says you have to watch 7 hours of somebody's content in order to really trust them. Well, long form really is the mechanism to do that. Pre-sell in content. This should be an opportunity for you to pre-sell, because if you're doing outbound, if you're doing warm outreach, if you're doing cold outreach, what are consumers naturally going to do? They're going to go on your website, they're going to go on your social media, they're going to check you out, and they're going to mentally have objections. So how do we address these common objections? Well, we can pre-sell them inside of content, whether that's long form, whether that's short form, whatever it could be, address the common objections. So we could do the same thing. Give me some hook ideas that address common objections. What Alex Hormozi talks about is AI, automation, making it efficient. That's exactly how you can do it. Leveraging social proof. So again, what he talks about before is that cycle of getting a customer, do really good, ask for a review. Getting a customer, do really good, ask for a review. With the review, we don't just want to have that review, put it on our website and call it good. We want to leverage that. Leverage that in your content, leverage that in your short form content, leverage that in your long form content. Use social proof to get more customers. There's power in testimonies, and the more that we can leverage those, the more people are going to trust us, and also makes you more credibility and makes those bottom of the funnel customers really convert a lot easier.
And so I like to incorporate proof in all aspects of my business. And here's an image of a lobby where we put proof floor to ceiling of people's 5-star reviews, because the advanced tactic here is that once you do start getting these reviews coming in, what do you think you should do? Display them everywhere you possibly can.
And last but not least is to be consistent. Like, this is a long game. I think one of the reasons Alex Hormozi didn't do it starting off is because it takes a long time. And if he put more effort into lead gen efforts, like bottom of the funnel stuff, he can see direct ROI. But with content, it's more of a long game. It's more of a step in the part of the funnel rather than the funnel. So what he preaches is, hey, this is a long game. This isn't going to happen overnight, but it's an important step of the big picture lead gen strategy that's actually going to get you customers, because they're going to check out your social media. They're going to make sure that you're actually legit. These are the tactics in order to affirm the customer that you are in fact legit. So if you want to do lead gen like Alex Hormozi, these are a few things that you need to be thinking about and really acting on. But if you haven't acted on them, fair enough. It's really hard to start and scale a business, especially from scratch, which is why I took up a challenge to start and scale a business in 10 hours to prove that anyone can do it and show the full step-by-step guide and how you can also do it yourself. And the crazy part was about this challenge is if I failed, I would have to pay for a first-class ticket to anywhere for my friend Jake. So go check that out by clicking the video on the screen and check out exactly what I did in order to do that. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.